Hi, welcome to the Cosmetic Chronicles. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode today. Just so you know, moving forward, as much as I love doing the deep dives into beauty brands, it is a lot of work to do on a weekly basis. I do all the research myself, obviously the recording, producing, editing, social media, you name it. And I love every single step of that. So I really don't want to ruin any quality of that work. And sometimes when I have to do it weekly, I feel like I lose some of the quality that I can give you. So I'm going to be moving the deep dive beauty history episodes to biweekly. So don't worry, there's still plenty to come. I just, like I said, want to make sure that I'm giving the best that I can with those, considering how much time they take. But in the meantime, on the off weeks, I figured let's do a biweekly roundup of the biggest stories that are shaping the beauty world right now. We obviously cover a lot of beauty history and what's happened in the past and how brands have kind of moved through recent times, but there's still a lot going on in the beauty world right now. So welcome to the Cosmetic Chronicles Beauty Bulletin. So our first section of stories is going to be about industry and brand moves specifically. So we're going to start with perfume brand Puig. I'm so sorry if I am saying that wrong. I've been practicing off mic for minutes and I'm still not nailing it, but I apologize to our Spanish friends. Puig reported a 79% surge in profit, which is wild, for the first half of 2025. And this is despite the pressure of new US tariffs. So according to Reuters, the Spanish beauty company Puig, known for its perfume brands Rabanne, Carolina Herrera, and Jean Paul Gaultier, said on Tuesday that its first half profit rose 79% to 275 million euros or $322 million as sales increased in anticipation of higher U.S. tariffs. They said that part of the profit increase was due to extraordinary costs linked to the stock market flotation last year. They mitigated the initial tariff impact by shipping most of its stock to the United States earlier in the year and then passing some of the higher duties through some price hikes. The Barcelona-based group had reported 2.29 billion euros in sales from January to June of this year, marking an 8% year-on-year increase, roughly in line with the growth of their projects for the full year. So this is a really interesting story because, first of all, that 79% surge in profit is impressive considering the times, but it's also a reminder that luxury fragrance still remains one of the strongest drivers in beauty, even in turbulent markets and times. In other industry news, Glossier has appointed a new CEO. According to Beauty News Daily, Glossier has tapped Colin Walsh, a former P&G executive, as its next CEO, effective next month. There's a quote that Emily Weiss shared, the original founder of Glossier, shared over on LinkedIn. Quote, "I'm thrilled to share the news that Colin Walsh is joining us as Glossier Inc.'s new CEO. This was an exciting search, and there was one person whose name kept coming up who Kyle Leahy and I knew would be the perfect fit. Even on my first call with our recruiter, he said, 'I mean, what you want is a Colin Walsh type. That's the dream.' Now Colin will officially join our team this October." And a quote from Colin himself, he says, quote, "As I step into this next chapter, I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to partner with Emily Weiss, the Glossier team, and the board to build on that foundation and to help shape the future of this remarkable brand. Most of all, I am looking forward to learning from the team, amplifying the magic that is already here, and working together to make Glossier a true legacy brand," end quote. The fact that they brought in Colin, who has a mix of kind of big corporate with P&G, and he has some industry experience as well with working with Way, it suggests that Glossier may be gearing up for kind of a new phase of growth, maybe deeper retail expansion or expanding in their product categories. Chantecaille also announced a leadership change. And again, from Beauty News Daily, they have appointed Tennille Copias as the new CEO. I really apologize if I screwed that up. Actually, over on Beauty News Daily is an article that I wrote. So not to toot my own horn, but it's an article I wrote about this announcement. So she brings more than 25 years of beauty marketing experience that spans prestige, designer, and mass brands. She worked in both global development and U.S. operational roles with deep expertise in skincare, cosmetics, fragrance, and hair. And here's a quote she said. Quote, I've long admired Chantecaille as a brand with a strong heritage and meaningful philanthropy. It's a true honor to work with this talented team to build on this legacy and continue to accelerate the business through elevated product and experiences, digital transformation, and to support the global commercial operations, end quote. Some brands that she previously worked for was she had senior roles at LVMH. She worked as the global chief marketing officer of Fresh, the senior vice president of marketing at Dior North America, and she also held leadership positions at Coty and L'Oreal USA. Chantecaille was founded in 1997, and they offer skincare, makeup, and fragrance, and they're known for blending high-performance science with natural botanicals. This is an interesting leadership change because her appointment signals maybe ambitions to sharpen global positioning, specifically with all of her years of experience as a global leader, and to lean into the current experience-driven luxury beauty that we are seeing in the current market. Moving over to some launches and innovations. One of the big stories in the last week or so has been that Balenciaga is returning to fragrance. According to Vogue Business, Balenciaga is relaunching into perfumery with a collection of 10 scents, including a modern reimagining of its 1947 classic, Le Dix. In this new collection of 10 scents, there is a nod to Cristobal Balenciaga's legacy. It brings back, like I said, Le Dix, the fragrance that was launched in 1947, with a formula in a bottle inspired by the original. According to Vogue Business, as a concession to the modern age, there is a spray dispenser in the bottle, which wasn't in the 1947 version. This is considered a fresh approach for Balenciaga fragrances. They were previously produced under license by Coty, but then the license expired in 2021, giving Kering, the group's beauty division, an opportunity to bring the fragrances in-house. And the CEO of Kering Beauty, Rafaela Cornegas, said the following, quote, there was no better way to honor everything this wonderful house stands for than by bringing back the very first fragrance that Cristobal created. We are staying very faithful to the brand's codes, which inherently balance heritage and modernity, she adds. And what's interesting about this is there is a luxury trend happening at the moment where beauty houses are reclaiming creative control in their beauty pieces and are also using it as like a heritage revival marketing platform. So people are really moving back into their classics and then also reclaiming the creative control of how they release them. Another big launch is Sincerely Yours. This is a Gen Alpha skincare brand, and it is debuting with clean vegan products all under $30. It was co-founded by a 15-year-old social media creator named Salish Matter. This is according to birdie.com. And Gen Alpha, in case you don't know, are those born between 2010 and 2024. I have never felt older in my life. And Sincerely Yours is like I said, a new skincare brand that's developed specifically for teens and for people who are in that kind of preteen era. And the reason why this is interesting is that, and you may have heard this in the last year or so, but there's been a lot of young people really wanting to spend money on skincare and using skincare like Drunk Elephant or The Ordinary. And not that that's a bad thing, but a lot of those brands' products are not necessarily made for more sensitive, fragile skin like teenagers. And so Sincerely Yours is kind of filling that gap of the young skincare that is specifically meant for teenagers. So it officially launched on September 6th at Sephora, and the line consists of 4 hero products. There's a daily moisturizer, hydrating cleanser, a soothing facial mist, and a mineral sunscreen. The products are Sephora Clean certified, vegan, and gentle for sensitive skin, as well as clinically tested. And it was developed with the assistance of dermatologists who are also mothers of teenagers. I think what's great about this brand is that everything is going to be under $30, which makes it really affordable, unlike some of the other ones like a drunk elephant, which is pretty pricey for anyone, let alone a 14-year-old. But also these products are clearly made with more of sensitive skin in mind, and not sensitive maybe how we speak about sensitive skin, but about young skin that is fresh. I don't know how to explain it without sounding creepy, but I do think that having something specifically made for young skin is really important, and it has been a hole in the market. And the fact that they're also introducing a sunscreen that early on, I think is phenomenal. It also highlights that even the youngest beauty consumers, which we already knew were spending money on this, they're now shaping the industry. They're helping to create actual brands based on their demand. And in the innovations category, there's a beauty tech boom, y'all. At-home devices like LED masks, lasers, and microcurrent tools are outpacing growth in some of the traditional skincare segments. Some companies are seeing a 20% and more revenue jump. According to the Financial Times, the beauty tech sector, according to a report for the Beauty Tech Group, is worth up to $18 billion globally. Sales have been growing at least 13% a year in the US, UK, and Germany since 2019, and that's more than 3 times the growth in the wider beauty industry. The Beauty Tech Group produces devices under the Current Body, Zip, and Tria laser brands and sells direct to consumers or via retailers. It increased revenue by more than a fifth in the first half of this year, while operating profit more than doubled. Consumers are clearly investing more in at-home treatments that blur the line between professional dermatology and DIY skincare. And as someone who loves my Dr. Dennis Gross mask, I can co-sign. And under campaigns and celebrity partnerships, there was a big moment at the VMAs when Doja Cat revealed that she was the newest global ambassador for MAC, as she was eating a chocolate lipstick replica of the shade Lady Danger. And according to Beauty News Daily, this is unveiling a long-term partnership that will see her front international campaigns for some of the brand's most iconic products. And this is a quote from Doja Cat about being the newest MAC ambassador. Quote, "I've been a MAC girl forever, and now I get to take that love to the global stage. Makeup is my paint, my armor, my way of creating characters, and MAC has always stood for that kind of artistry and freedom. We're going to push it even further and make people see beauty in a whole new way," end quote. And on MAC's side, their global creative director, Nicola Formichetti, has said, quote, "Doja has a fearless energy that is so authentically MAC. She uses makeup as a tool for creativity, pushing the boundaries of expression. We're thrilled to join forces with her to redefine and disrupt the beauty space," end quote. This move really helps keep MAC plugged into pop culture and highlights how theatrical partnerships can really drive buzz, especially when they eat what looks like a real lipstick on MTV red carpet. And I think MAC has always been great at using global ambassadors and celebrities, and not even just in specific campaigns, but just having a consistent new face as their global ambassador really does keep them tapped into pop culture. And another partnership that really made waves this week is that IT Cosmetics has announced its first celebrity partnership with actress Kristen Davis. And she's currently fronting the campaign for their CC Plus Nude Glow Lightweight Foundation. According to BeautyScene.net, this connection to IT Cosmetics actually began with her own experience with rosacea. So she discovered this foundation on her own before she was named a partner when she was struggling to manage her own skin condition. This is what she had to say about it. Quote, "When I was younger, I often took my skin for granted, and I also struggled with rosacea for years. Discovering the CC Plus Nude Glow Foundation was a game changer because it improved the health of my skin while also providing just the right amount of coverage," end quote. IT Cosmetics global brand president, Maud Brunschwig, also had a quote saying, "What makes Kristen such a powerful partner for IT Cosmetics is her authenticity. From discovering our CC Plus cream during her own skin struggles like her rosacea, to becoming a devoted advocate of our formulas, Kristen's journey mirrors what so many of our consumers experience. Together, we're proving that beauty is not about perfection, but about feeling confident in your own skin," end quote. The CC Plus Nude Glow Lightweight Foundation is a multitasking foundation that's made with 90% skincare, combining niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and green tea extract. It delivers buildable medium coverage, 24-hour hydration, and clinically proven to brighten skin in 4 weeks, while also providing SPF 40 protection. I do think more and more people are searching for makeup that can also act as skincare. And so It Cosmetics deciding to announce its first partner for this specific foundation makes a lot of sense. And in regulations, you may have heard the EU has banned a specific gel polish ingredient. The EU has banned TPO. I'm not even going to attempt. Should I try? Try methyl benzyl diphenyl phosphine oxide. TPO. We're going to call it TPO from here on out. It is a photo initiator that triggers the hardening of the gel polish under UV or LED light by initiating a chain reaction that turns liquid monomers into solid polymers, which helps it maintain its color for longer. So this is according to The Times. Banned in the EU after regulators have deemed it potentially toxic, forcing salons and manufacturers to pull stock and reformulate products. And beyond the beauty industry, TPO, the ingredient, is widely used in other things like UV coatings, industrial adhesives, printing inks, dental fillings, and UV packaging. So the TPO was outlawed in all cosmetic products in the EU starting from September 1st. And the decision follows studies that suggest links between the chemical and long-term fertility issues in animals, prompting the European Commission to impose a precautionary ban while further research is conducted. So this means that salons that are in all 27 EU member states and in countries that follow its regulations like Norway and Switzerland must now dispose of any TPO-based gels. So brands will need to now create alternative formulas, with this ban expected to trigger global supply chain disruptions and pressure the American beauty market where the chemical remains legal. However, not everyone in the industry agrees with the ban. Doug Schoon, a Californian-based scientific consultant, criticized the decision in an open letter published on Sunday, arguing that regulators had overreached. Quote, "If left uncorrected, this decision will once again impose unnecessary economic burdens, waste safe products, and undermine confidence in EU regulatory proportionality." End quote. Meanwhile, the gel bottle, which produces the thickening product Builder in a Bottle, said in a statement, quote, "The cosmetics industry frequently undergoes regulatory updates to protect consumer safety and well-being. These updates are proactive measures ensuring products remain compliant with the latest scientific research and safety standards. This is not a product recall. Current products remain safe to use." End quote. This will be a very interesting ban, I think, and it will force a lot of people to have to reformulate and to reformulate fast, and could also shift consumer demand towards safer formulas, specifically around nail polish. But I will be curious if people actually get rid of everything with TPO, and if the regulation ever finds its way to America. I will be surprised, but you never know. And in our last story in retail news, British chain Body Care has entered administration and will close another 30 stores, currently leaving only 85 locations open. According to the Scottish Sun, administrators have said a shortage of stock and the cost of running high street shops has meant it is no longer viable to keep all the remaining 115 stores open. All staff will be made redundant when the stores close this week, although the number of job losses was not immediately specified. So like I said, the latest closures will leave the chain with 85 remaining shops. So just a little background of what I'm talking about, because I'm obviously reading something from Scotland. So they use different language in terms of bankruptcy and debt. So in the UK, when a company goes into administration, it means that they've become insolvent or unable to pay their debts, and an outside administrator is appointed to take over the business. So the administrator's job is to try to keep the company running, at least in the short term, to restructure or sell assets to pay off the debts, and to potentially find a buyer to save the business. So it is similar to a Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the US, but the process and obviously rules and everything are different. But I just wanted to, I realized as I was saying it, we maybe need to talk about what I'm talking about. Okay, so Body Care appointed their administrators from the company Interpath on September 5th, saying it had come under pressure from rising costs and a shortfall in funding. And Nick Holloway, who is the managing director at Interpath and a joint administrator, said on Monday, quote, "We'd like to express our sincere thanks to the hundreds of dedicated body care staff who has shown such professionalism since our appointment. We will continue to trade the remaining 85 stores while we remain in discussions with interested parties with the aim of preserving as much of the business as possible," end quote. Interpath is currently pursuing a potential rescue sale of the business and assets. Body Care was originally founded in 1970 and sells beauty products as well as fragrances and other bathroom items. And like many of its peers, it has felt the burn of rising costs coupled with shoppers having less money to spend. And prior to its administration, a number of stores have already launched clearance sales or have closed completely. So all of this is coming at a time that's already challenging for retail, with many of these chains, not just Body Care, but also New Look and River Island in the UK, are battling low consumer spending alongside rising costs. So that's your roundup of the week's top beauty stories, from CEO shakeups and fragrance revivals to celebrity ambassadorships and the rise of beauty tech. Stay tuned for the next Beauty Bulletin in 2 weeks as we track the shifts shaping how we shop, wear, and experience beauty. See you next time.